And for this week, I decided why not go back and talk about the Powerpuff Girls, one of the most beloved animated trios in television history. Now, the thing is with the Powerpuff Girls, we all know them as a group of three just going out to fight crime and be little girls at the same time. That's pretty much the whole thing that we know about the Powerpuff Girls, that we're used to the Powerpuff Girls, and that we love about the Powerpuff Girls. But recently though, with the 2016 reboot, sometimes they can find themselves into controversy, especially with how they want to go and incorporate new characters. Like not too long ago, we just finally finished off, we've moved on from the whole Jared Shapiro controversy. Like that whole thing was an entire mess right over there. So now that we're done with it, we've moved on. It looks like they want to go and add another character into the mix. Now, thankfully, this is not as controversial. It just, now with this one, audiences are just not liking it and they feel like it's rather pointless. Because the thing is, though, is that coming soon, the Powerpuff Girls will no longer be a trio. They are going to be a quartet. Now the thing is that Entertainment Weekly made this big announcement that the Powerpuff Girls are going to include a fourth member onto the team, and they're really gonna go and make a big deal out of it by giving us this 5-part movie event called the Powerpuff Girls Power of 4, which is going to be coming out later in the month of September. Now, what's interesting about it is that the only thing that Cartoon Network is telling us about it is that there's going to be this new one, and we see a little bit of the silhouette of it. Like, that's the only thing it delivered. It's just the silhouette and the fact that this Powerpuff Girl is going to be purple. Now, let's see if there's any little thing that I could mention right over here. No, not really. Okay, there's no big sources that I can mention about this fourth Powerpuff Girl. However, that is only what Cartoon Network is trying to tell us. Like, they're trying to make this a big secret, and they're not going to reveal immediately who this is going to be until when the 5-part movie is going to be released. But that's only Cartoon Network. Apparently, the internet, though, did actually manage to find who this actually is. Now, of course, the little details about it, we don't know specifically. Like, as I'm recording this, we don't know about this fourth Powerpuff Girl's name. We don't know about the fourth Powerpuff Girl's personality. And, we don't know any of those small things. And we don't know who is it going to be voiced by. But apparently, there's this Russian promo going around that apparently kind of slipped in onto who is it that this new Powerpuff Girl looks like. And I actually have the picture right over here. And the way to describe it, it is actually a little bit interesting. So, of course, like I said before, allow me to go and describe to you what this new Powerpuff Girl looks like. So, the motif, of course, is entirely purple. So, this Powerpuff Girl has a purple dress and also has purple eyes. Now, what's interesting to note, though, with this Powerpuff Girl is that this one actually has some darker skin. So, rather if she would be Indian or if she would be African American, well, that we don't know because, let's be honest, no matter what race it is, it's really hard to tell, especially when it's the freaking Powerpuff Girls, when they don't even have freaking fingers or even a freaking nose. As Brack himself pretty much said it best, they're just a bunch of pansy frou-frous with overly sized mutated eyes! But anyways, yes, as I was saying, this Powerpuff Girl is purple, she has darker skin, she has metallic blue hair, and on top of that, I got a feeling that this one is more of a teenager, where the Powerpuff Girls are little girls. And the reason why I say that this new Powerpuff Girl could be a teenager is that, one, you could tell she's a little bit taller than the other girls. And number two, she's got some hips. Like, you could see a little bit of a curve on this Powerpuff Girl where they decide to give this one some rather large hips in there. Where with the silhouette of the other Powerpuff Girls, it's pretty much a little bit like a giant lollipop. This one, like I said before, she's got some curves going on. Not necessarily boobs, but just like some hips. Like, you could tell that she's got a butt going on. But yeah, that's basically what the looks of this Powerpuff Girl is going on with it. But honestly, I have to ask, in terms of a creative sense, like, in the context of the Powerpuff Girls itself, why? Just, why do we need a fourth Powerpuff Girl? And honestly, I just gotta ask, as an Epic Mickey fan, I can tell by experience that the Power of Two really did suck. So, what makes you think that the Power of Four would be any better? Because that's kind of the thing with this, like I said, I think that is what I said before, that the 5-part movie event is going to be called the Powerpuff Girls Power of Four. So, honestly, I'm trying to think in terms of the context of, like, the entire lore of the Powerpuff Girls and stuff like that. Why is it that they really need a fourth Powerpuff Girl member? Now, keep in mind, though, to be very honest, I haven't seen any of the recent Powerpuff Girls animated series. I haven't seen any of the episodes from the 2016 reboot. I'm only speaking as someone who was a fan of the original animated series, the original 1998 animated series by Craig McCracken. And looking back into that, there are even some explanations onto why it's probably best, why there shouldn't be a fourth Powerpuff Girl member. Like, Craig McCracken and his team already established that. Number one is with the character that I'm sure a lot of people all know and love, Bunny. That's pretty much the big thing when this announcement actually happened, when the news broke out that, oh, there's going to be a fourth Powerpuff Girls member. Everybody pretty much came out and say, yeah, it's like, there's already one, it's called Bunny. And if you guys don't remember, Bunny actually appeared only in one episode called Twisted Sister, where the Powerpuff Girls decided to go and create their own Powerpuff Girl by trying to do the same little experiment with that Professor Utonium did in order to create the Powerpuff Girls, where they try to add sugar, spice, and everything nice, or like their definition of what sugar, spice, and everything nice is, and then suddenly add the chemical X. And what ended up happening is that they pretty much created the Powerpuff Girl equivalent of Sloth from the Goonies. And with Bunny, like, she's not all there. You could tell that she does have a little bit of like, she has a bit of a mental disorder, and on top of that, she would be, like, a bit grotesque. Like, she has a really large body, and she doesn't even know her own strength. And in the episode, which, by the way, I just gotta say, the Twisted Sister episode is actually really, really good, actually. Like, it really does play with your emotions, and it does have some pretty funny moments. And with the case of Bunny, like, they want to try to see if she can be a Powerpuff Girl, but she ends up really screwing up all the time. And the one good thing that she did, though, she ended up ultimately sacrificing herself. And what's interesting to note about Bunny, however, is that just like with this new Powerpuff Girl, she is entirely in the purple motif. So that's kind of pretty interesting to note, is that the idea of a purple Powerpuff Girl already existed, and that is with Bunny. Sorry. But with the case of Bunny, I think overall we can all say that as a fourth Powerpuff member, Bunny do good. So definitely Bunny do good. But interestingly enough, Bunny is not the only reason why a fourth Powerpuff Girl member couldn't really be the case. And this is actually with one of the most popular Powerpuff Girls villains, with Princess. And if you guys don't know who Princess is Princess is this character that she wants to be a Powerpuff Girl member, but she couldn't. And the whole background with her is that she is an entirely a rich, white, spoiled brat. Like, she is way too used to getting everything that she wants. And, like, she is way too rich to be connected to reality in a sense. So she's pretty much like the Powerpuff Girls equivalent of Veruca Salt from the Willy Wonka movies, or basically a Trump. But going back into Princess, like, she really wanted to be a Powerpuff Girl, but the girls themselves were actually the first people to tell her, no, we're not going to have a fourth member, you don't really have natural powers like us. And she really got pissed off from it, so she pretty much goes out to say that, you know, if she cannot be a Powerpuff Girl, then nobody can be a Powerpuff Girl. So that's why she is known to be one of the more famous Powerpuff Girl villains. She's, like, pretty much up there with characters like, who would be up there? Like him, the Gangrene Gang, Mojo Jojo, and all those guys. In a way, she's actually, you know, come to think of it, she would be like the the Powerpuff Girls equivalent of Syndrome from The Incredibles. Like, you do have a little bit of a similar background right over there. But you see, that's kind of the thing with Princess, is that she couldn't be a fourth Powerpuff Girl member because there's no need for a fourth Powerpuff Girl member. And with the addition of this one right over here, the fact that Entertainment Weekly is trying to make this big deal out of it, it just feels so pointless. I just don't see why, in a creative sense, why we really do need a fourth Powerpuff Girl. However, there is one explanation that everybody has been saying. Now, there is one common explanation to what people are trying to say. Why is it that Cartoon Network is trying to add in a fourth Powerpuff Girl? And that is because it seems like this reboot of the Powerpuff Girls is basically dying. Like, right now, it looks like it's in a position where ratings are going pretty low. It is very soon to be basically canceled. And right now, they really need something to really grab audiences' attention and to be in, you know, to really get the interest of the Powerpuff Girls to be in there. So that's why they really want to go and try to make a big deal over the fact that now there's officially going to be this new teenage Powerpuff Girl with big hips. So honestly, I can see that. Like, that is a pretty logical explanation, considering that this is not the first time that this would happen. This is actually a bit of a common practice whenever there's a TV show that's really losing a lot of ratings, and they really want to try to go and spice things up by adding in a brand new character into the mix. Not just a new character, but like a brand new main character, hopefully to bring back audiences and to have them stay there in the hopes that they can enjoy this new character and to make them fall in love with the TV show again. I mean, it has happened so many times before, and it has happened so many times in, you know, it already happened in, what was it? Like, fudge nabbit. It already happened in television animation. I think that could be one of the reasons why Scrappy-Doo was made in the first place. So, yeah, honestly, that could be a logical explanation onto why, but for me, I'm sorry, as someone who used to watch the Craig McCracken Powerpuff Girls series, I just don't really see the point into adding in a fourth Powerpuff Girl. It just doesn't make sense, and yeah, I'm definitely one of those people that, I feel the same as many others, that for me, if there has to be a fourth Powerpuff Girl member, it is Bunny, because at least with Bunny do good. Is this gonna do good? I don't know. Well, I mean, in general, this series, like the reboot series, is not doing good, so I don't know how this is going to be any different. I mean, this is the kind of controversy, it's not as bad as the whole Jared Shapiro bull crap, but honestly, overall, it just feels pointless. I mean, why do we need a fourth Powerpuff Girl member? I don't know, but I think that's all I could say about it. It's just that this is just pointless.